all of our visitors. Very good to see you here. I'm proud to see people in the boardroom. This is the way this is going to happen. It's going to be conducted in a very orderly manner. Each person will speak individually without anyone else talking over them. The questions will be answered by our board attorney or by our board. Now, for some of you, I don't know if you know who the board members are. So I'm going to start here with Jim Morgan. Grew up in Oktibbeha County, Sturgis resident all his life. Miss Susie McClellan, basically a Sturgis resident all of her life. Laura Smith, lived here forever. And Laura Morgan, Sturgis resident forever. And Mr. Eric Jackson. Now, I'm going to say this. The comments that I've seen on Facebook, I thought in the beginning were kind of funny. You got your attention. It ended up being something that was totally ridiculous. And it was shameful. And I say that because you're Sturgis residents too. And when you get to a point where you're putting your own town down, I'm going to tell you this. If you got a problem, come sit in a board meeting and find out why we can't do something.
That's why I'm here.
Okay? Do that. Find out why we can't do something. And I'm going to tell you what we're faced with. I come into this office as mayor, and within a month's time, I was told we didn't have money to pay bills. That's not a very good thought. The reason we didn't is because we haven't run a balanced budget in 25 years. In other words, this town overspends what we take in the neighborhood of $20,000 a year. The way it's been taken care of in the past is from CDs, money that has been put back from times when the rally was making this town a lot of money. I've sat down, we've sat down as a board, and believe me, this board, this is hometown people. Nobody's trying to screw anybody. As a matter of fact, half of this board signs the back of their check and gives it back to this town. The check that they draw for being on this and listening to a bunch of stuff, it goes back to the town. But when y'all want to complain about you don't have this or you don't have that or our water, come to a board meeting. We're more than happy for you to be here. We're more than happy for you to jump on board with us and help us figure it out. I come in here and I've talked to people in Oktibbeha County and outside of Oktibbeha County of what do we do to try to get us back in the black. There's not any easy solutions. It took a long time to go negative, and it's going to take a long time to get it back where we need to be. We're cutting everything we possibly can. One thing this town is doing that is hurting us financially, we're supporting an infrastructure in this town, that at one time we had income to support, and that is our park. I know that park was built before this motorcycle rally came, but in its heyday, the motorcycle rally put upward of $100,000 in a CD. Right now, we're at a point to where we're basically gonna cut the grass in the park with our own equipment, our own tractors, our own lawnmowers to try to save money because we don't have the money to spend. The cemetery and the church, Presbyterian Church, was given to the town. And I guess everybody thought that was fantastic. But when you get to a point to where that property costs this town $300 a month just to cut grass, that wasn't a wise choice to get. You know, fortunately, we reached out to churches. They come in, they donate money. You heard me mention earlier, $400-something in that account. That's due to people that's helping out. What do we do when a cemetery that the town owns can no longer afford to cut the grass in the cemetery? That's pretty pitiful. There's a lot of things like that. I wish you'd be here every single time to where you can hear what we discuss. But now that's what I've got to say. And I hope you all take that and really realize it's no fun sitting at this table. And we're trying to do the best that we can for each and every one of you, but most importantly, we're doing the best we can for Sturgis, Mississippi, because we're all hometown folks. We grew up here, just like y'all grew up here. We grew up here, and we're trying to do the best we possibly can.
About
Now,
dictating to us what we're gonna do on our own land.
This is not the time for that, y'all.
Well, I'm just speaking.
We need to wait and let the mayor address it.
okay,
Oh, you gotta be addressed?
Yes.
Okay.
okay. But like I said, we're gonna do this in a peaceful situation. Your questions will be answered to the best that they possibly can be. Charles, we'll start with you.
All right, yeah. I'd like to know why y'all won't pass a law telling people what they can and can't do on their own land. Their property. I know every one of y'all.
We're not
Neither one
telling
of you
what
ever
you
made a
do on
payment
your
on my
land.
place.
We're not telling you what you do on your land.
Yes, you did.
We're gonna tell you how to do on your land, not telling you what to do.
You ain't, that's right, you ain't. Before I pay you the $25, I'll pay the $90, $100, misdemeanor fine. Before you tell me what I can do. I lived here for 30-something years. I love this town just as much as y'all. The last thing I wanna cause is trouble to this town. But when you go to dictating to me what I'm gonna do on my land, what's next? Tell me where I'm gonna cut my grass, when to cut my grass, where to put my barbecue grill, what I can have in my yard. I don't come down to your house telling you what to do on your place.
Then you on not on the same page, but.
Well, I don't agree with y'all at all. And we
you
all
on the
know
same page, you ain't
that
either.
there's two people in this town that this law was meant for. That's the store burnt down on the corner and the old man outside of town there that sells stuff out of his yard. Am I wrong?
Just for everybody.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is.
You made this rule, y'all sat up here and made this rule and dictate to us what we can and can't do, because you can't make them buy a permit I mean, they're on disability. They ain't got nothing. One of them's house burnt down. And you gonna pass a law saying they can't sell nothing in their yard sale? You telling me you're not dictating to somebody? That's right. Go home, get your Bible out and read it. Because y'all ain't right. And I'm here to tell you ain't right. I've lived over there on my hill for 30 years. I ain't ever had a yard sale and don't care if I ever have one. But it's not y'all's place to tell me what I can do on my place. I bought and paid for that land,
We're
not
telling
the
you-
town
We're
Sturgis.
not telling you can't have a yard sale.
What did you say? I gotta
You
pay
gonna
you
do it, you gonna do
$25
it,
and I
we
can't
gonna
have
put
but
it in
two
paper.
every 90 days?
The attorney answered that better than I can.
Okay, Mr. Brown? I'm assuming it's Mr. Brown, ain't
It
it?
is.
Okay.
That law was modeled after the law in several cities throughout Mississippi. Okay? That law is designed, you have your rights, but when your rights encroach on other people, then we can prescribe that. That as far as traffic and cars and coming and going, the board has that authority.
Okay.
If you wanna have a business, open up a business, buy a building permit, set up a store.
Well,
But if you wanna have a continuous yard sale, this town has the right to prescribe that, and has.
well, why don't the town just, we just pour white trash down here in the bottom according to everybody else anyway.
You've already said
So
that
y'all
you've never
can
had a
move
yard
that city
sale.
limit sign back up to Edward Street, to Church Street. Take that part of the city away from them and just let us be down there.
You've already stated that you've never had a yard sale, don't tend to have.
That's right, I don't.
So,
But ain't nobody gonna tell me what I can and can't do. I set one up out there this weekend and had it just for the heck of it.
I'm afraid,
And
To be a
you
citizen.
wanna write, what, a misdemeanor?
no,
What, $100? I can pay that right now, you want me to pay it?
I'm afraid it's a little
But,
beyond that.
you know, well, that don't matter. You can't dictate to people what they
Yes,
can and can't do.
Yes, sir, absolutely, the government has that authority. From the federal government can tell somebody how
Well,
much corn
I'm
they can
just a
grow.
redneck, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. I'll pay the fine before I do it. I ain't the only one agrees with it.
Are there other questions, comments? Yes,
I
sir.
got two issues I'd like to discuss. The bike riding, for one, I think this town people up there shouldn't have to pay to go in that park. It should be a privilege to us. It's benefiting our town anyway. And I live on a fixed income. I spend all my money here. I make $750 a month, my check. All my money goes right back in this town for the last 8 years it has. You know? And I feel like to spend $40, I spend more than that in this town every month, you know? And I spend $40 going to a park, I don't think that's right.
Okay.
And another thing I'd like to, before you answer me, another thing I'd like to ask you about the church. If you supply the tractor, I'll cut that grass every year, for free. I'll volunteer that out.
Thank you very much. Right, I want to address the bike rally part, and so many people really don't understand the way the bike rally works. The town of Sturgis hosts the bike rally.
I understand.
We supply security, trash pickup, porta pots, that's what we do.
Yeah.
The rally board, which is now called The Rally, puts the rally on, they're the ones that charge us whatever they want to at the gate. That is a nonprofit organization that is not under our control whatsoever.
But you could make a suggestion to them, though.
And we made suggestions in the past. I mean, we made suggestions when they wanted to charge every car $5 to come park down there.
Yeah.
And said, no, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I remember when the rally, we had 30,
Yeah.
40,000 people down here.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
But, you know, we can talk to them, and,
I mean,
right now, and just in order to keep this rally going, I'll tell you this, that they did not make any money last year, and we did not either. I mean, the reason that no one made any money is because no one is buying armbands.
Well, and the thing is, you know, y'all, we quit the rally for those years, we lost that revenue, and
That's
people
right.
quit coming, they started going to other bike rallies.
That's right.
We started it back up, it's gonna take a while to build it back up to where it was, I understand that.
Yeah.
But never be back what it was.
Well, it may be in this
Yes,
side.
It
I
never
think-
happened that much, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, the rally itself, I think we reached a group of people back in the heyday that is 10 years older, myself being one of them.
Yeah.
We've got grandkids now that we spend more time with. We got, you know, our kids were grown then, but now we got grandkids.
I'm not as young as I was back
You know,
then either.
so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think an age factor is a part of the
Yeah.
rally. As people get older,
Yeah.
people aren't riding bikes like they used to. I mean, we don't see people riding bikes nearly like we used to.
Yeah, that's true.
But, I mean, we're still making an attempt to try to do something with the rally. This year I reached out to Lance Sproul, Mayor Starkville, with different things that
Yeah,
we
I
could
know- I
do,
know
or if they
Glenn.
could help us out in some ways, and, talking with the partnership, and, everybody is very willing to help. Right now, I'm waiting on the OCEDA board to, make the motions to approve the money that OCEDA donates to the town of Sturgis so we can actually have this rally. And OCEDA's always donated $10,000 to the town of Sturgis. That helps us pay our expenses. The money that pays the rest of the expenses comes from the vendors when they pay their fee. That's all the money we have to work with, unless the rally board actually makes money, and then we get a third of that profit. Is that way it works?
But it was just a suggestion, you know, I would love to go to the park to watch the band, but I mean, for me, being on a fixed income, it's hard for me to spend $40 to go in the park, you know? And I'm a citizen here, I live right up here on Sturgis West Point Road, you know? I have been for the last
Oh,
8
you know,
years.
well, when we started back, it was dropped to $20, so it's just $20 a person. So
Okay.
we're just still $20.
Yeah,
But
but
for
still,
two people, it's
but for
$40.
me, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly, I
And like I
understand.
said, I put my money back into the town, I spend my money in this town.
Mayor
And I
had free
did-
entertainment for us this year.
Hmm.
The mayor had free entertainment for us this year.
Yeah, we did have free entertainment outside the park. It didn't cost anything.
Yeah, that's right. But, and as far as the church thing goes, my name's Chad Hamilton, you can put it on record. I'll cut that grass, if you supply a tractor, I'll cut that grass, save time and money.
All right, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I definitely do.
All right.
I mean, and that's the help we need. Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
On this topic and basically the rally and preparations and whatnot, the new RV parking on Church Street, where did that come from? Like
That's
where?
not RV parking. That is my personal property, and my business is run from there. That is my personal motor home. That is
But there's
my
been
personal
multiple
toy
motor homes
haulers,
and
and
different
it's my
people
personal
there.
property, so it's not an RV park. I had the dirt work done last year,
Is
waiting
it
for
a
it to
business now
settle.
or something for you
It's-
personally, or
What now?
is it like a personal business for like having people come and camp there for you, or what?
This is
No.
man cave.
That's my personal property. That's my personal property. I own everything that's sitting there.
Nobody's camping there.
Nobody camps there, no.
There have been people there.
Excuse me?
There have been people there.
Oh,
If they've been there, I didn't know it. Charles, did you see them?
I can't lie. I ain't seen nobody. I thought that was your personal man cave.
I mean, I have a motor home sitting there. I have a deer camp toy hauler, and
I
you'll
just
see
told
my
him to
gooseneck
get
when my
RV
tractor
parking.
come back in pretty soon, and another toy hauler come in from deer camp. That's my personal property.
Is there gonna be electrical hookups and whatnot? Like, is it gonna be used for the rally?
No.
No, it's personal property.
You go in the park.
Yeah, I actually during the
We
rally,
always-
Go
I
to the
have good
park. You
sites
didn't
in the
even stay
park.
up there.
I don't stay at home. During the rally, I go to the park, I have 2 sites in the
Well,
park.
now you have a new one, so.
But in the event that I wanted to do that, there would not be anything wrong with that, because that's what everybody in town does when the rally comes. They rent the sites out. Yes, ma'am?
Mr. Billy, I just have one thing to say. Did y'all write up an exception for like a single mother that's trying to feed her kids, having a yard sale, or trying to afford Christmas for her kids for a yard sale? Did you actually write up a provision for that in there?
Miss Misty, that's a good point as well. I've been asked about churches. This yard sale, garage sale has been tossed around from way back when Walter was in office. It originally started there, which was probably 2 years ago. It was settled down with this board, and each person around this board had this attorney go through 2 to 3 phases of it, trying to figure out what would be fair, what would be best. It is an ordinance made by the town, by this board, and voted by this board, and any appeal to this board to change it, this board can do that.
Well, you know, that's what I was thinking. Sturgis is not a rich community anymore. Everybody here knows that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not rich. They're single mothers with kids that, you know, they might need to make a little extra money that way. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I don't have a yard sale. But if I did, if it would help one of y'all, I would tell you to come set up in my yard and I'd pay the $25 for one of y'all. I've lived here all my life. You know,
Exceptions can be made. I mean, it's an ordinance made by this board, it can be changed by this board. I mean, and that's just that. I mean, it can be done any which way. And no one sitting around this table wants to intentionally hurt anyone. But when it comes to a fact that if someone is continually operating a business on a 7-day-a-week basis, come to town hall and get a business license. I have to pay for one.
That's what I see.
well, that's what I'm saying. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about operating
You know
a
what?
business or going back and forth through a business. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about average individual people that may have gotten hurt and have to sell something, have a yard sale.
It ain't
You're
about
encouraged to do that.
You shouldn't even try to waste your time with this. I mean, the only thing that's gonna change this is when next election comes, we change the board members.
Well, I know
They
every one
walked
of you
in,
on this
nobody
board.
contested it, but it will be some contesting going on next time, I can promise you
Well,
that.
I know every one of y'all on this board, and I know there's not a cold-hearted person in here. But I need y'all to stop and think about that very thing, what y'all passed. It didn't hurt me. It might have not hurt her, but it might have hurt him. It might have hurt somebody in the apartments up here. It could have hurt them. You know, always ask yourselves before you do something, WWJD, what would Jesus do? And think about that, y'all, because it's not about me. It's not even about Charles over here.
I'll pay the fine before I pay the
You know,
$25.
it's, to me, it's about the individual person in this town, you know?
It is.
It's really sad. And, you know, that's the way I feel. On a second note, can we not get something done about the littering on Edward Street? I have went down there, my daughter and my grandson went down, and the new people that moved into the White House, it looked like trash city in front of their house from all the litter. My daughter and grandson got on the four-wheeler, went down there and helped them two guys pick up trash that has been thrown out in the front of their yard. My field, I have to clean it up every time I get ready to cut it because people throw trash out their window into my pasture. You know, it's like that all the way down, right down through there sometime, folks.
I do.
I do.
You see all the trash
I
that's
see
being
it.
thrown out, and that's not right.
If you could get us like a tag number or
Well,
something.
you know, how am I supposed to see it? You know, that's the problem, you know?
I mean, yeah, honestly, how do we, I mean, we can put up
We're
no
open for
littering
suggestions.
signs,
And
but how do we catch them?
And something else, lower the speed limit on Edward Street, please. I have grandkids, and I would like to see them live another
What
year.
is the speed limit now?
35.
Speed limit sign ain't gonna
Now,
do
Mr.
nothing.
Billy, you go down my road doing 35 and see what happens to the bottom of your truck.
Hey, our roads ain't that bad now. I work for the county.
Well, I'm serious. You know what people don't realize, you go down there through that road flying, you got
They do
little ones.
that
I have
anyway.
little ones in my yard all the time. I'm not gonna promise one ain't gonna tumble out into the street. You're not gonna be able to stop and miss that kid.
Let me ask the board attorney, what, how is the law for changing speed limits inside the city limits?
I'm going to research that for you and give you an answer, but I think it's totally within city limits, and it's not a state highway, not controlled by another entity, then the city does have the authority to regulate the streets, meaning y'all put speed bumps up on certain streets or whatever.
That's a
if you
good
want to.
idea.
Certainly do other things to slow it down, or you can reduce the speed limit.
Okay.
But I think you,
Rick.
I was just gonna say that, the county, Octopus County, we just ordered some speed bumps for some neighborhoods. And so I'd be glad to look into that option,
But I'm just
You
trying
know,
to
the-
figure
the
out who did the
citizens-
speed limit deals around here, because you can go to Louisville and it's 15-mile-an-hour speed limit signs on city
Church
streets.
Street is bad too. I mean, people
Yeah,
fly
Church
out.
Street's bad, Edward
They do
Street,
every one of them.
you know, just about every one of them, you can't do
It's bad on
35.
my road too, and I live on Edward.
I
It's
know you
terrible.
do. I
It's
mean, you
terrible.
just think about it. What if you're going out to your mailbox and
I
you
know.
slip?
It is, it's terrible.
Okay, well, we'll look into it.
And that would
And
also,
the bottom
that would
line
also
is-
bring in, if you can get Mr. Doug to patrol and write some tickets for speeding.
Give me a radar and I'll be glad.
I wish I
Radar,
Motion
I ain't
that.
writing no
I
ticket.
wish I could.
So everybody understand
He
it.
can't do like Lewis with his
He does not
hair
write radar,
dryer.
he can't write speeding tickets, okay?
There's nobody gonna throw any trash out in front of me.
No, I think he can run, I think he can run 90 down Highway 12, though, trying to kick somebody's speed.
Yes, ma'am.
How
I
about
love messing with
handicap
you, Doug.
access?
Ma'am,
Handicap access to certain buildings. Like a lot of these buildings all on this side, there's no handicap access whatsoever.
I understand.
And this
Right.
ditch right here for the blue building, when we have auctions every Saturday, I've had to help so many people because they can't see that ditch. When they repave the road, there's like an 8-inch drop off into the drainage ditch there. And I've painted it a couple times, you know, put tape or something so people will see it. But the stairs are really slick and people fall all the time, especially when it rains. But there's no handicap ramps. And we have people in wheelchairs that come in and they go up the grass hill and have to come around and be pushed in because there's no handicap whatsoever.
if it's private property, then we don't have the authority over it. If they're grandfathered in, then they don't have to have in other words, if they go back and they modify it, do some major changes, then they would have to
Now,
set up the
previously,
handicap.
it's been mentioned when my husband had the building before that it was his property. But during the rally, he provided some bands that were friends of his to play on his porch right there, and they proceeded to try and shut him down, saying that it was their property. And he tried to get handicap ramps installed then, and they told him it was his property. But then, when it comes to doing something on that property, you guys have to come in and try and step in and say that it's your property. So if it's your property, you're responsible for the handicap ramps. So where's the line on the city sidewalk versus, you know, because if that's the case, then since we have the building during the rally, we're allowed to have bands. We can have whatever we want right there, because it's our property.
Depending on what day of the week it is.
Is this that blue building? Dear, I thought the side, door was considered, handicapped access.
Because it drops down. There's stairs. that
There's
go
actually
into the
stairs
building.
inside the building, there's no ramp.
Oh, inside the building? Oh, I
There,
didn't
it
realize that.
steps down inside the building, there's no ramp to that
Oh,
building.
oh. So there would have to be a ramp inside the building?
Either that or they'd have to build it on the outside where the steps are here in front.
And the side door is also for loading for like all of our sellers that come in and whatnot to unload their stuff because all the public's in the front.
Right.
When it goes bad, we don't have any money.
Well, I mean, in short form, to answer you, there is a right of way that is a state highway, and there is a right of way from the center back.
It's like 50.
Beyond that,
So
I don't
can
know
we
where
possibly look into
that
seeing the
property
definition
line
of that, if it's
stops
you guys
and
or us, and if
ends.
we can actually have something built there without getting in trouble or yelled at? Or like
I didn't
impeding
understand
in
because I
like
was
the road or
talking.
anything?
Excuse me?
Cause like the side with the steps over here, like if we were to make that into a ramp instead, is that gonna have any effect on anybody or anything?
You know, the side steps that come out to the side street
Mhm.
that come out.
Cause that, there's that
As long
drainage
as
right
that
there though
interfere
too.
with traffic. Derek, I wouldn't think having.
Well, there's nobody on that side road right there but me. People travel it all the time and the people park there for the auction, but nobody lives on that road but me.
Okay,
Hey, one thing to look into, I mean, whoever owns that building, where are their property lines? Where do they come to? I mean, I don't own land on Highway 12, so I don't know where my property line
Well,
comes
that's why I was
to.
wondering, cause it's been disputed before that it was our property versus
Well,
your
he
property,
said, she
and then.
said, really don't cut it, so, you know, make a trip to the courthouse and find out where it is. And then that solves the situation.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am?
I have some help to offer you too on that, since you do have a lot of elderly, which I've seen come up to
You're
the
there,
auction.
you know.
Some of the churches around here would actually help you build a ramp if you get it approved.
Okay, but would we be able to get that approved to you guys if we were to build our own?
So if you build a
As
ramp
long as
going off
it's-
into the city street like that or not, though.
As long as it's, American Disabilities, per their stuff, there's, as long, there shouldn't be anything that this board or anybody else should be able to say. As long as it's done per the American Disabilities Act. And that's coming from a carpenter who's been doing this shit for 30 years, so.
Is there any rules on that with the county?
Go ahead.
I was just wanting a clarification for the law. I mean, I heard you say 2 times a continuous yard sale. All right, so if I decide this weekend that I'm gonna have a yard sale, I need to come see y'all about a vendor's permit, per se? Or is this for people who are continuously having a yard sale? And it goes back to what she was saying, about this. If that be the case, then I would like to propose an amendment to the board to say that anyone that's having a continuous yard sale, that way the people that have a yard sale hit and miss during the year, maybe 1 or 2, you know, and I'm not one of them. I haven't had one, probably won't. Just like her, but you know, I just want a little bit of clarification because it doesn't. I'm with the gentleman over here in the corner. Man, I pay taxes on that lot down there. I pay a lot of taxes on that lot. You shouldn't be able to tell me what I can and cannot do with my property. I mean, that'd be just like me walking over there to your house and telling you that you can't have that business up there.
The ordinance is fairly straightforward. Sales times restricted. Residents living in a single-family residence may conduct a garage sale or yard sale, but such sale shall not be conducted more frequently than every 90 days. No business may conduct a yard sale or conduct an outdoor sale except by special permit event for the town declared events, meaning like the motorcycle rally. Permits required. A permit shall be obtained from the town clerk's office, and no garage sale or yard sale shall be conducted without such a permit. Permit fee of $25 shall be paid. The town clerk shall keep a record of the permits issued on file for 180 days. Permits will not be issued to any individual or any separate location more frequently than every 90 days. Special permit for an outdoor sale at a town declared event shall be $150 paid to the town clerk, meaning like the motorcycle rally and people setting up vending or food trucks or what have you. Sunday sales are prohibited. Permit shall authorize the sale generally for a weekend or for a period not to exceed 2 days, and no sales should be authorized on Sunday. Special event permits shall be valid for the period of the declared event. Display. Permits shall be posted where easily visible in order for inspectors to monitor compliance without disrupting residents or customers unnecessarily. Violation. Sales conducted without the issuance of a permit and without complying with the terms of this article shall be in violation of the ordinance from which this article is derived and shall be punishable as a misdemeanor.
Okay, so the clarification is, yes, I have to come and get a permit
Yes, sir.
if I'm gonna have a yard sale for one weekend, whenever.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's what okay.
So you gotta buy a permit no matter what.
Yeah.
You have to buy a permit no matter what.
That's it. That's what they said.
But another question I have, how many people in here has ever had a yard sale in Sturgis and actually made $25?
Thank you. That's the
Raise
next
your
thing.
hands, I
Thank
wanna
you.
hear, who has actually had a yard sale and made actually $25 to give to town?
After my lifetime, we made
How many
about
people in here have
200.
ever had a yard sale?
I've had my crafts on sale at my house before.
Yeah.
I do woodwork, and I'm pretty damn good at what I do. So
Ain't there a thing called blue law?
If you wanna have a business,
no, I don't.
get a business permit.
I don't want to have a business. I've tried that here. I didn't grow up here. I'm not part of the Good Old Boys Club. Therefore, it don't work. I've had my license to do carpentry work, and I had to let it go because I couldn't get damn business.
Well, I think the whole thing's just good to
If you
go.
wanted to open up and sell at your location or whatever, then you could get a business permit and run a business.
You know, I heard you say something earlier about a grandfather law.
Yeah, and being grandfathered in. I mean, I've lived here in this town for almost 20 years now.
Try almost 50.
Well, 100, yeah. And I know there's a lot of other people here in this that have lived here since they were that big. You know.
So if you wanted to start your own business,
No, I'm not asking that. I'm asking about the yard sale. I'm not asking about, I know how to open a business. I know how to do that.
okay.
But I can have it 4 times a year without having to pay y'all? Is that what you're saying?
No, 4 times a year, but you have to pay.
But you have to pay. Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Is that,
So y'all are dictating what I can and cannot do on my property.
Yep.
That's what I hear. Is that what I hear? Thank you. That's all I needed to know.
More ways to skin a cat than one, though.
That's all I needed to know. That's all I wanted to hear.
Mr. Brown, you work for the city or the people of the town?
I am employed by this board.
Yeah,
I serve at the whim and the pleasure of this board.
You serve the board then, not the people.
Not the people.
Okay. That's what
I do what this board asks me or directs me to
You
do.
serve the board, okay. All right, back to the sewage problem. Sturgis, I've been here 30 years and I ain't got sewage. Didn't care to have sewage, but if somebody's gonna go to dictating to me what I can do on my land, I think it's time to call Brandon Presley and get some kind of investigation done. Maybe we can get the city limits sign moved, or maybe pay them the last 30 years of taxes I paid to y'all and get that back to me.
you're right, but your sewer, I mean, your water bill would double, you know, with the sewer.
Yeah, I know. I ain't got sewage stuff.
I know, I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I know that. I've been there 30 years, I know that.
To address you on that, I mean, those decisions of why it was done the way it was done, and what was done was made many years before our time.
It's in your lap now, baby.
You're exactly right. And I gotta tell you like this, if we had the money, we'd do a whole lot of things around here. But the money's
But
not
you
there.
ain't. You
So
don't.
whatever,
That's what I'm saying.
Brandon Presley tells us, then, we'll open up the books and say, sir, how do we need to do
Well,
it?
I have it taken care of by next board meeting.
Okay, cause I mean, that's where it stands, is,
I know.
you can only
I
do
mean,
what you
all I
can.
want, hey, all I want y'all to do is just leave me alone. I don't even care about the tax money. I can pay my taxes every year, eventually. Eventually, I'll pay them, you know, but don't be, but I'm not gonna be dictated to tell me I can or can't. Like I said, I've been here 30 years, never had one garage sale. Don't care if I live here another 60, I don't care if I have one. But if I start the notion, I have one, I'm gonna have one, and I just soon pay a fine that I had to give y'all the money to tell me what I can and can't do on my own property. I don't come to y'all's house to tell y'all what to do on your place, and all I ask you to do is leave me alone, don't be trying to tell me what I can and can't do on mine. And that's exactly what I see y'all do. I don't think it's right. And we all know, everyone that knows, the reason you made it. Right up there on that corner, and right on up the road on the other side of the road. That's the exact reason that you done what you done. You just went in the back door about it and trying to be shady at it, because you ain't got the, excuse me, you won't come out and say it. Y'all know why you done the law. Everybody in town knows why you done it. And yes, I'm very disappointed in a lot of folks around there that didn't show up tonight, that said they were. But y'all sit up here and make rules that apply to people, you know, that you don't need to be dictating law.
You keep mentioning two people that we got on. Let
You
me
know
ask-
who it is.
Let me ask you something. These two people you say we made this thing for,
Yes,
where do they get their merchandise to sell?
I assume they
I don't wanna know
buy it from
something.
somewhere
I wanna
else.
know where they get
I
it.
don't know, you tell me.
They buy it, they got to.
Well then, why
That
don't you,
goes, that goes
why
to
don't you go
retail,
and
don't it?
tell them to buy a business
It
permit
goes to
right running
retail.
the business?
You need to pay your privilege. like
Why you gonna, that's right, why you gonna come punishing me
that.
for
They
it?
ain't doing it.
What,
They
ain't
wouldn't
you
do
the
it.
board?
Pardon?
Ain't you the board? Well then, make a law to change that, don't change it on my place.
That law already on the book. So,
All right, if nothing else, excuse me, I didn't mean to overspeak you, Charles. But if nothing else, why don't you go back and redo this? Allow the citizens of Sturgis 2 yard sales a year. Anything over that, they have to pay that $25. But at least give the citizens of Sturgis at least 2 yard sales a year. Other than that, they have to come in, they have to pay your permit.
I'm wondering why it went into effect in the first place at all, because one of which persons, it burned down, not selling anymore.
Mhm.
The other person, we have an auction now, not selling anymore. Why did it even go into effect in the first place? When those two people had already been talked to, and, well, Walter's not here no more.
Well, I'm saying, what's next, y'all gonna tell us when we cut
This
our
isn't an
grass?
HOA, we
Or
live in the
put our
country for
grill
a
in the
reason.
yard? How many cars we can park in our driveway, how many tractors we can have? That's where dictatorship starts. This is the beginning.
That's right.
But if you research your law, you can go all the way to Supreme Court. Supreme Court can tell a farmer how much corn he can grow on his own property, even if he doesn't sell it anywhere, because it affects interstate commerce. So this law was passed even-handedly. It wouldn't apply to any one person,
Yes, it
or any
would.
2 people, or any
Yes, it
10
would.
people. It
You can
applies
say
to
what you
everyone.
want.
It
You can
applies to
say what you
everyone.
want. We
No,
know
no.
what you've done.
It doesn't say this only applies to any one person. It applies to anyone who's a citizen of Sturgis.
Read,
And the reason,
read between the lines. We can.
and the reason
We're
the
not
federal
stupid.
government tells them how much corn they can grow
got
on their lands,
laws.
cause they're insured by the federal government.
That's right.
That's the reason they can tell them. That's dictatorship
That
too.
law-
Yeah, because they
that
take
law is
government
not
grants,
insurance.
federal
This law
money.
goes all the way
But
back to
if his
our
crop,
country.
if his crop fails and he doesn't make a yield, the federal government
Government
steps in,
pays
gives him
him,
money.
pays him for.
Pays him for his
just
crop.
as a land anyway, that's right.
That's the way
You
they
gotta
told.
remember, George Washington fought the whiskey rebellion for people making whiskey up in the mountains when this country was first formed. Tell
they wouldn't
people,
buy it.
that, no, you can't make whiskey on your own land and drink it yourself without paying a tax.
Our forefathers did it.
So I'm sorry.
The men that wrote
Actually,
the
that's
Constitution-
incorrect, you
That's
can,
the
there
only-
is an allowable
that's the only
amount.
The men that wrote the Constitution of the United States made their own beer and liquor, you know, and they didn't have to worry about it. That-
Okay.
But I'm sorry, I
This,
didn't
this, I
mean to
think,
interrupt.
discussion has been plentiful and everything that's been said needs to be said. Misty, I want to address you on the point that you made. Your ordinance for this town is made by this board. And I'll say something else. This board of aldermen and me as mayor, nobody run against us. What, nobody wanted the job, bottom line, nobody wanted it.
Well, I think
Whatever
got a
you
good
want
board.
us to do, as a citizen, as a lifelong person that's lived here, address the board. These 5 people vote.
That's
I
what I
don't
just,
vote.
that's
These
what I
5
just
people
said,
vote.
you
Vote
know.
and talk to them and bring your case to them, and I'm sure they'll be accommodated.
That's what I just said, you know, to save grace for everybody in here. Give them 2 yard sales a year. That's for our citizens. That's for us. If anybody else wants to have it more than that, make them get a, you know, pay that permit. But what's 2 yard sales a year gonna hurt anybody in this town? Is it gonna hurt you, Miss Ann Laura? Is it gonna hurt you?
Even an HOA allows Saturdays and Sunday mornings.
I mean, is it, you know, is it gonna hurt any of y'all to do that? I mean, that might help that single mother. That might help that poor person that can't eat this month. You know, it might help it. They can take stuff out of their closets. In fact, I think it's David Ramsey, encourages a yard sale to make money. read his book. But you know, like I said, give us 2 yard sales a year. Then if we wanna have another one, make us pay that $25 per minute. You know, it's not that big of a deal, and I think you'll find that everybody in here would like to see that instead of all the chaos, the arguing, fighting, and fussing, because that's not what I come here to do. And like I said, garbage on the side of the roads, you know, I don't know what to see, how to catch them or what, but them poor people in that White House up there, they catch it every day. And other than me, you know, I'll stop by there and pick up what I can on my way home. And as far as the church goes up here, Sturgis, y'all need help? Pick up the phone. Hey, you and Bob want to come help? I'll do something.
All right, I thank you, appreciate it very much.
All right, y'all welcome. Y'all have a good night. God bless.
Thank you.
And just,
All right,
and just back for the record, as far as the church, if the town will supply lawnmower, I will cut the grass for free.
thank you very much. All right, any other questions?
Have we discussed anything about Church Street?
Church Street did come up.
It did?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm
We were
sorry, I
talking
was late.
about-
I come from Jackson, so
Yeah.
I was late.
Church Street came up in the matter of speeding and things such as that.
Right.
Because Misty was just saying about speeding and the trash up and down Edwards, and we talked about speed limit signs and what we could and can't do. We gotta find out for sure. And Brickley, Miller, our supervisor, was here and said that she would help out with speed bumps.
Okay.
Because I knew I brought that up because I knew
Yeah,
with
could you,
y'all's
yeah, we had
kids,
talked- yeah.
you know, they're right there at the street.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I've literally stood out in the road and stopped people myself. You know, I've got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. You know, I'm right by the road. I'm the closest house probably to the road on Church Street. I know my children are gonna run away from you. They get away easily, so I try to put them in the backyard, but, you know, I mean, people have to be going 45, 50 miles an hour down that road.
I was gonna say,
There's
they're not
no
doing
question.
30, are
And
they?
they cut off. They cut off right up here to get to maybe to Sturgis Road. I mean, that's not much of a cutoff, you know, and it's just, it's dangerous,
Yeah,
you know.
especially the
Yeah,
speeds are good.
the speed
Yeah,
bump,
you
the
know.
speed bump thing sounded good to me.
Yeah, I mean, I even offer, I'll pay the speed bumps myself if I have to. I mean, I don't mind. I just want them there for the safety of myself and, you know, my wife and my children,
I agree,
you know?
I agree. Okay, does the board have any more discussion? I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion.